Hello.
Hello,
I'm Julia.
I'm Amy, and this is Women, Worth, and Wedding.
The pause is scary.
I'm sorry, my brain gets scared because I've messed it up so many times that I'm like, oh.
Today is a pineapple refresher with pineapple juice and coconut milk. And it is still dry because who knows when we're going to start drinking again.
I don't know. But these are good. So we do signature cocktails every time because every wedding, or not every wedding, most weddings will have like cocktails, and we get asked a lot, like, what kind of cocktails should I serve? Mm-hmm. And so there are some weddings that do mocktails. So these are mocktails, and this one's really good.
It's good. It's refreshing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so what are we talking about today?
Behind the scenes of the wedding day.
So I really want couples out there to understand what we're doing.
Yeah. And understand that we are not just sitting there
with you. I mean, because I have had brides ask me, like, are you going to be in there with me while I'm getting ready? Mm-hmm. I will come and check on you.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be sitting there with you because there is a lot going on behind the scenes. So let's start the day. So
let's say we're at Heart Meadows.
Okay. So we're at Heart Meadows.
We pull through the gates.
Yes.
We're like, wow, a beautiful day at Heart Meadows. We love it here. We pull into our spot. All right, continue.
Okay. I was like, oh, this is story time.
I was painting a vision.
Yes. So typically the bride and her bridesmaids get there between 8 and 9 o'clock. Mm-hmm. So you get to the venue. We see you, we check you in, we make sure that you're good, you're getting ready, that your hair and makeup's there, that they know how to set up, they know where the plugs are, all the things. So step one, you're there, hair and makeup started. Mm-hmm.
Then we're waiting for rentals to come in.
Yes.
So we go down to wherever the reception space is. At Heart Meadows, it's at the Oak Hall, which is like a little bit of a walk from the yurt, which is the bridal suite. Rentals typically arrive around 10, depending on what the venue is. Heart Meadows, luckily, it can be anywhere between 9, 10, 11, depending on how much they have.
So the rentals get there. Then we have to take the list that you gave us, the receipt that you gave us, invoice, and we have to check things off as they're unloading the truck.
Or if I'm in control of everything, which I love so much.
Yes.
I'm sitting there like...
Yes, Julia checks it off. And what we make sure that we have enough linens, that we have the cocktail tables, that there is...
Because randomly, sometimes everything was rented correctly, but some stuff might be missing.
Yeah.
It's happened. It's not common, but it does happen. So having someone there checking everything in is really great. Granted, it's really hard to count flatware as it comes in, really hard to count plates and water goblets. They're giant crates.
And they're wrapped in plastic.
To linens and tables and chairs, it's easier.
Yeah, for sure. So then I will then usually stop and go check on you again. Yeah. So I go and check on everybody, make sure they're good, they don't need anything.
Is unloading still and starting the decorating process.
Yes. So then we start decorating, and if we're doing florals, we have already started on florals, but then we start decorating and setting up your reception area. Mm-hmm. So that takes hours to do. And so during that time, I will stop what I'm doing and the team will continue working, and I will do, like, if you need me, or I will come and check on you, whatever it is, we're running back and forth.
Yeah. Honestly, it takes from the time everything arrives up until 1 to 2 hours before ceremony sometimes.
Yeah. To set everything
up. It is very detail oriented. We're very detail oriented people. We tweak things, we move things around. As vendors are coming in through this whole process, we're stopping what we're doing, showing them where they're at, making sure they're good. They have questions for us. We have questions for them. It's a whole entire thing. So literally the whole entire morning, we are decorating and making sure everything is set up correctly before guests arrive.
Yeah.
Because when the guests start arriving, everything has to be done.
Yep. So then once your photographer arrives, then we will make sure there's a couple of different things, or one thing that I asked the photographer, do you need me to be with you, or do you want to do this solo? And the reason I ask that is because some photographers that work solo by themselves without a second shooter need an extra set of hands to help them with the train, with, getting people where they need to be. And so if that's the case, if your photographer says, yes, I need you to help me, then I have to stop doing decorating or whatever needs to be finished, and the team has to finish it. So then I'm with your photographer. Then I'm helping get you situated for your layout that your photographer does of the flat lay.
Yeah, we always try to make sure flat lay is set up. All the little detail photos are set up or put aside for them for when the photographer arrives.
And so I actually have a list of what needs to go in a flat lay.
I usually say invitations, any stationery that the guests got beforehand, heels, any watches, rings, perfume, a couple of flowers. Anything that I'm missing?
Let's see. So 2 copies of your invitation suite, all 3 rings, any jewelry like pearls or anything that you want in there, shoes, a hairpiece, wedding day perfume, any heirlooms if you're incorporating any of those things, a veil, letters you want them to photograph, and any additional stationery items like menu, place cards, anything like that. And then I always, if we're doing florals, then I will give them some flowers to place around the flat lay, but also we will ask the florist to give us some extra flowers as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So we're putting that together, making sure everything's together for the photographer when they arrive. And then we get, as she's doing photos, he or she's doing photos of you and your girls getting ready, then I will go back and make sure that everything is good with setup. I will help with that some more. And then when it's time for you to do your first look, or the guys arrive, or your partner and whoever is in their wedding party arrives, then we get them situated, get them where they're supposed to go, make sure they have their boutonnieres on them. And then if you're doing a first look, we get you lined up for that. And so after the first look, then if you're doing a first look, but after that, then photo. So if I'm having to be with you, I'm holding your train, I'm making sure everything's good for you.
It's a lot of stopping and going.
And then once your ceremony happens, what do we do?
Ceremony. So when guests are arriving, we make sure they're going in the right direction. We have to check on you again, check on the guys. We make sure everyone's good. 15 minutes before ceremony, we line everyone up, which means 15 minutes before ceremony, we're telling all guests to get in their seats, take their seats. A lot of in between is showing people where the guest book and card boxes, bathrooms. Everyone's always asking where the bathroom is. Then we get everyone lined up, and then we make sure DJ's good, photographers are good, they're all in their spot. And then we have typically one of us is with the bride, one of us is with the group cueing them down the aisle. And as soon as the groom goes, we typically pull the bride.
Yep. And then once you're down the aisle, we take a breath and we watch you get married, because we are so excited for you and it's happening, and we just watch the ceremony a little bit. Someone from the team may check on reception area, turn on any candles or votives or anything like that. And then after you walk back down the aisle, we congratulate you. We get you ready for pictures.
We get your marriage license signed. We typically try to pull you away and go ahead and get that signed, because not every time the officiant is staying, he may just be someone hired out.
Yeah.
So
then while you're doing photos, if I'm having to stay with you, I will be with you. The rest of the team will be making sure that cocktail hour is going well. Then we get you guys lined up for your grand entrance.
Which means a lot of gathering of guests and moving them into reception. That takes a little bit.
It does. It takes about 15 minutes to get your guests into the reception area, get them seated.
They need to look at the seating chart. They need to go to the bathroom, get their last drink, all that stuff.
Make sure the DJ's good with the grand entrance. There's a lot of hand motions with the planner and the DJ. I feel like if the DJ understands this and this and this, he understands whatever, he's a good DJ. Travis is our go-to DJ with Famous Music Group, and he understands all my weird hand motions. Because sometimes he has to look at you from across the room, and you have to be it's time to do the thing with the, or whatever, bubbles. We're doing bubbles. Yeah.
I probably only do that with Travis.
Yeah. I did it with a DJ in Charleston a couple weddings ago, and he did not understand my hand language, my hand signals, and I was like dead to me.
Oh.
I mean,
That's
if you
pretty
don't,
harsh.
well, it was this. Like, we're doing this. And he was like, I'm like, this. And I'm like, and I had to go tell him.
You stomped your foot. That's so funny.
True story. Okay, so then after you do your grand
We're
entrance,
also talking to your caterer before that and making sure they're ready for dinner.
yeah, ready for dinner, because sometimes they're like, we need like 15 more minutes or whatever. We get you lined up for your grand entrance. You do your grand entrance, and then depending on your timeline, if you're doing your first dances or whatever, but while you're doing your first dances, then we are making your plates of food.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you sit down and eat, we make sure that your photographers are eating.
We ask if you want any drinks.
Yes. And during cocktail hour, while you're getting your pictures taken, we also do that as well. We make sure that you have food. We make sure that you have drinks. And then after you sit down and you're eating, then we kind of just take a beat, make sure everything's good.
Make sure every table is being called appropriately. Family and wedding party goes first, and then, 1 through whatever for table numbers.
Yep. And then after that, we go through the timeline, whatever it is that you're wanting to do, whether it's bouquet tosses, games, whatever it is, we are checking that off throughout the night.
After dinner, we do typically cake cutting.
Yes.
And if they haven't already done the first dance, we do cake cutting and first dance.
Mm-hmm.
Usually toast we do during dinner because everyone's seated and you get their undivided attention easier than cutting the dance floor.
Right.
And it's time for speeches. So we do toast speeches during dinner, cut the cake, first dance. And that kind of transitions it into a different vibe for the evening. And then it's easier to get everyone on the dance floor.
Yeah. Yep. And then we really try our hardest, we promise, Travis, not to break up the dancing as it happens. So we really want to, DJs do not like to work, they work very hard on getting guests onto the dance floor and dancing and getting that party vibe going. And then when we come in and say, we're going to do whatever it is we're going to do, and we have to stop everybody from doing that, it really messes up the flow of the party.
Yeah, so we try to knock out everything on the timeline besides send off and clean up before the dancing starts.
Yeah.
So by the time you're doing your first dance, unless you want to do bouquet toss or any games, then you should be good to just enjoy the rest of your night.
Yeah.
You should have at least 2 solid hours of just dancing.
Yep. And then throughout the night, we are just watching you like creepy little minions. We just watch you. Huh?
You especially. You just like to stare at the dance floor.
I like to watch people dance.
I don't. I'll pop in, and I'll always stay where they know I'm there. I'll be off in a corner somewhere, but I don't like watching people dance. It makes me uncomfortable. They're making bad decisions.
I love it, and I want to make sure that you're good. And so also by the time everybody's dancing, every guest knows that we're the wedding planners. So then we become everybody's wedding planner.
Yeah.
Everybody's asking us questions. They're wanting to know if we can help them with something. They're wanting to know if
A broom, a mop.
yeah, a ride to their car. All kinds of stuff.
That just takes me back. I don't know if I told you the story. I was carrying a giant train at our last wedding. Giant train. I was completely leaned over because it was heavier than me, and I was walking it. It's a long walk. And someone had the audacity for me to call one of the golf cart guys. And I was like, you're not talking to me. Surely they see this and they're not asking me to throw a train on the ground and help them. So I just kept walking.
Yeah.
So I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing. My whole entire body, I was just carrying this massive train, and there was no way for me. I didn't even have a walkie-talkie on me to call them.
Yeah.
So I just didn't turn
I mean,
around.
we have to. We will share some time right now. They will put in Kim Blake's wedding dress in that train. That train had a wedding of its own.
It was amazing.
It was amazing.
A whole moment.
It was a whole moment.
It was heavy. Mm-hmm. Got my workout in.
It was real heavy, but it was real cute.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and so then after you're dancing, then it's like, okay, it's send-off time. We then have to herd all of your drunk guests to where we're doing the send-off, and that is a
Takes
journey.
about 15 minutes on its own at least. Usually you're
at
doing
least.
that and I'm inside busting everything. I'm like, get it
out.
done.
Yeah.
By the time everyone comes in to collect things, it's like,
Yeah, done. But I get everybody lined up. I get it ready for send off. We make sure that you're good. We get you gone. We tell you how much we love you, how much we appreciate you. And then we stay about an hour after your wedding and make sure that everything's broken down, cleaned, making sure that venue's good so that you don't get charged anything. And then we leave.
yeah, we're the last people to leave when it comes to like not the wedding venue. We have to wait for all vendors to get out. We have to wait for you to get out. So if you're taking a very long time in the bridal suite and you're just talking and laughing, we're staring at you.
A hard stare.
A hard stare. Like, how can I point my headlights right into the window?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about how, because you just kind of threw me in this direction. Let's talk about how couples can make it easier on us throughout this process to help us help you.
Mm-hmm. I guess it just comes to being vocal about expectations. We're not mind readers. We have our workflow, and if you have something that's unrealistic or not normal, you need to let us know.
Yeah, if you have like a certain ceremony thing that you're wanting to do that's specific to your culture, we need to know exactly what that is because people are going to be asking us what they should do.
Yeah.
Also, just like expectations throughout the day. If you're wanting something from us, don't be mad because we're not reading your mind. Mm-hmm. Ask us. We will do anything for you.
That's why we always try to stay available. That's why we're always near you.
Yeah, we're your biggest hype girls. We are there to serve you the entire day and night. So if you need something, ask us. Mm-hmm. And know at the end of the night, it's time to go. Like, have a plan of action for who's picking up your stuff. What car is it going in? Know that it has to be a streamlined process because everybody has to be out of that venue at a certain time.
And cleanup needs to start an hour before that time because it takes an hour.
Yeah, it is a long process. Mm-hmm. But if you're wondering what your planners do, that is a high-rise version because it's a lot more detailed than that. Yeah. But that's a high-rise version of what we do on your wedding day. Mm-hmm. We do all things. We cut your cake.
Sometimes.
Most of the time.
Which I don't mind.
Yeah, Joya loves cutting the cake.
One time I was cutting cake for like a solid hour and a half. I didn't even get to eat dinner that night. Mm. It was like 200 something people and everyone wanted a slice of cake. It was crazy. I went through 3 tiers and like 2 sheet cakes.
That's crazy.
So crazy. And as soon as the cake was cut, I got swarmed. Mm. I didn't even have a second. I was like frantically trying to like undo. Because I always set stuff out. Like, here's some plates, here's forks, ready to go. And then I'll like slowly refill as time goes. But everyone wanted their cake now. It was really scary. A shadow fell over me and they were just all like,
cake. What is it with the dessert tables and wedding guests?
I don't know. I would love all guests to know don't touch dessert until the cake is cut.
Yes.
Please and thank you. If you don't have a planner, your guests are going to ruin your dessert table before you even get to see it.
100%.
So sorry. It's going to happen. Because I stand there and me personally as a wedding planner, I stand there and make sure no one ruins it for you. Other people don't do that. Sometimes. I don't know what everyone does, but I hear a lot of horror stories.
Well, I mean, we just heard a story where one of our couples went to a wedding and they literally said it was like swarm and then everybody walked away and the table was empty.
Yeah. And no photos were taken or anything of it.
That's crazy. So guest.
Don't be rude.
Don't be rude. I mean, seriously. It's one of my pet peeves.
Yes. It's always an older gentleman. I'm just saying. It's either an innocent little kid. Don't blame you. I'd be the same thing as a little kid. But it's mostly an older gentleman. Mm-hmm. It's not funny.
It's not funny.
I'm not laughing.
Yeah, there's no amount of cuteness that you could try to throw at us to make us want to give you a cupcake early.
I've said no to Grandma.
You have said no to Grandma, and that broke my heart.
Listen, I don't regret what I did. I gave her a lot when the dessert table finally opened. I did. I brought her a whole plate with all 3 options. But if Grandma has dessert, everyone at her table wants dessert. She's at a table full of older people too.
But Grandma was 90.
And Grandma got her plate.
Oh. Let's just agree to disagree. Oh gosh. Anyways, I have a soft spot for Grandma and Grandpa's, but but yeah. So I think that a lot of people don't understand like what planners do throughout the day, and where are they? I had someone snap at me one time and go like this. I was like, I will break your hand off your wrist.
Oh, it's so crazy how people treat other people.
Yeah.
Oh, who did that?
I can't see.
Was it like a family?
No.
Was it a couple?
Yes.
Oh. Ew.
It was a whole thing. Whole thing. I tried to get it out of my mind, but
yeah, I've never heard of it before. Probably buried it deep.
I buried it deep. It just came up for me.
Sorry that happened to you.
Oh, it was one of those things where I was like, you don't even know me. But I didn't. I held it in.
I don't even know what I would do. I don't know.
See, people don't know. Everybody thinks that I am like the nicest, sweetest, like I'm the one. But there's like this little person that lives inside of me. It's like
gremlin. Little gremlin inside of me. Everyone knows I'm scary.
You are scary though. You scare me a little bit sometimes.
But once they like know that like I'm good, then I don't know. I'm weird.
But weird is good. You're just intense sometimes, especially when it's time to go from a wedding. You get intense. Yeah. It's not, you're like, I don't give a shit about being your friend or your daughter. We're getting out of here right now.
I know exactly about, he was obsessed with talking to me when I was in cleanup mode, and I hid from that person. Like, I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah.
Because I knew that conversation was going to take a long time, and I was like, I'm getting out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about it.
Dead to me. That was beautiful. Did you hear it?
That was really beautiful.
All right.
Talented.
Well, we are wrapping up this podcast about behind the scenes of a wedding. I'm sure we will go deep dive into exactly what we do during the planning process, because the average wedding planner spends about 300 hours on a wedding. And so we do a lot. And so I would love to kind of break that down for everybody, exactly what we do on a weekly basis for our couples, so that everybody knows like how hard we work for our people. All right. We will see you next time.
All right.
Bye.